Hey guys, in this video, Victoria is going to give us a complete tour of the town of Fountain Hills, just east of Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's get into it right now. Hey, what's going on guys? This is David Van Ashe with the Living in Phoenix team. And if this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, and play here in Fountain Hills and the greater Phoenix area, make sure you pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us an email, send that text message, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when moving here to Fountain Hills, Arizona. All right, Vic, tell me all about where we are right now. What is this place? What is this park?
So we are right in the center of Fountain Hills at the main landmark, which is the fountain. Initially, when the Fountain Hills was designed and kind of the idea came to be, it was just to make a small community of luxury homes. And the fountain was specifically made to be like this big landmark that people actually want to come down here and visit for. But yeah, it actually goes off every hour, every day. So from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and it goes for around 15 minutes or so. And on day-to-day basis, it goes maybe up to 330 feet off of a level, main level.
So tell me about the other amenities of this park. So, so we're actually here on this walking path. What other amenities is this park known for?
Well, the main trail goes for a little bit over a mile. So you'll see a lot of people doing their daily runs or just walking with dogs.
Get your steps in. I know, I gotta get my steps in too. It's something, it's always a little bit, every time I go to bed, my step counter is a little bit light.
Well, definitely that's the place to get your steps in. But throughout the park, you also see the disc golf, that was called?
Frisbee golf?
Frisbee golf, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Frisbee golf, I noticed that. I know earlier we were talking about it and you have never played before, but I noticed that right away, so.
Yeah, a lot of places here have it, but yeah, I never really made it to actually play with it. But yeah, you'll see it's not so much today. It is a little bit hot, but especially during winter, this park is full of people just, either having like a little picnic or playing Frisbee golf.
So yeah, tell me about like the restaurant scene. Being a smaller town like this, like what can somebody who's researching moving here to Fountain Hills expect as far as restaurants and going out to eat and just nightlife type of situation?
So being a smaller town, you do have quite a bit of choices for your different dining options. You obviously have a little bit more of a casual fine dining areas here, especially right next to the Fountain Hills Park. You got some Asian places, the more of like cafes and coffee places. But if you do want a little bit more of a really upscale fine dining or more of a like nightlife, you will have to go to Scottsdale for that.
Got it. Okay. And as far as like variety too, is there, being a small, I used to live in a small town, so I kind of get the fact that there's usually only a handful of restaurants, but I mean, I imagine you get to know all of them pretty quick.
Yeah, I would say that if you go out quite a bit for your meals, you will get to know pretty much all of them in not that long of a period of time.
Got it. So Vic, tell me about, as we're walking here, this doesn't even feel like Arizona to me. I mean, there are cacti, I see the saguaros, but tell me more about like this park and restaurants and what else does this place have?
So since this is kind of your main place to be here in Fountain Hills, you will see quite a bit of a different dining options, the restaurants kind of on the perimeter of the park. Right over there behind us, actually, the All-American Grill. And you'll get the best view out of there for, especially when the fountain goes off every hour, every day for about 15 minutes. Day to day, it doesn't actually go to its full potential for how high it can go. The absolute highest is 560 feet off in the sky. So pretty high, but they only reserve it for some of the holidays. You'll see it on the 4th of July or
right.
Day.
So we're kind of far. The next nearest like city would be Scottsdale, and it's solid, what, 30 minutes, 20 minutes from here?
Yeah, I would say it's a solid 30 minutes to drive to Scottsdale. Obviously, the parts of Scottsdale actually right next to Fountain Hills. But if you want to actually go shopping or some of the fine dining options or hospital, it is going to be a little bit further out. Yeah.
What about at night? So I know being a huge metropolitan area, we get a lot of light pollution and things like that. What I think we were talking about this earlier before we were filming, but there's something special about this town that's, as far as talking about that?
Yeah, so actually really interesting is that Fountain Hills back in 2018 got the award from the Dark Sky Association, and it's actually awarded to be one of the dark sky community in the world. I want to say there's around 30 of those.
I just explained, it's like basically what it means is the sky is super dark, which allows people to do stargazing because there's very little light pollution here.
Being so close to Phoenix, which is a really large metropolitan area, you will have a lot of light pollution where you can't really see the stars, the sky, you know, in general. In Fountain Hills, they did take some precautions where during the darker hours, everything is turned off. So there's actually a few places that you can specifically go and have some stargazing experience.
So just ballpark, like how big is Fountain Hills?
Population-wise, it's somewhere around 25,000 people.
Okay.
But I will say that really big part of it is not here in the summertime. So a really big snowbird population, people who just come down here during the winter months from the colder places, just because it is absolutely beautiful here during the winter time.
Okay, so probably about, it sounds like about 25,000 people are year round, and then we maybe don't know exactly how many people come here in the winter.
Pretty much, yes.
All right, got it. So one of the things I noticed is a ton natural grass, and of course this giant fountain park itself. Obviously, all we ever hear about on the news media is there's a drought, the Colorado River's drying up, Lake Mead, all of that. Where's all this water coming from?
Well, it's actually a really good question. So the Fountain Hills Park is basically using reclaimed water, which is another word for sewage.
Treated sewage water.
Treated sewage water. So all of that is basically from all the showers, and, you know, toilets. The water goes to the water treatment facility, and we end up with these beautiful water features throughout the desert where we can just enjoy.
Got it. Okay, so note to self, don't drink the water coming out of the sprinklers.
You will see a lot of the little signs saying like, hey, this is reclaimed water, don't drink it.
Oh my gosh.
But,
well,
yeah, a lot of people don't really realize what that really means.
All right, so we're just pulling into Fountain Hills. Victoria, tell me about Fountain Hills. Like the views here obviously are amazing, but like, what about the jobs?
Well, as far as the jobs go, there's definitely not a whole lot going on as far as your big, you know, manufacturers or big employers. Pretty much everything here is gonna be your little boutique shops and dining, that sort of thing. But other than that, most people who are working here in Fountain Hills are gonna be commuting to Scottsdale, maybe Gilbert. As far as most of the population here is either people who are retired or actually people who just moved here even during the COVID times when so many people figured out that they don't actually have to be in the office every day. And this is the perfect place here if you are working from home, so that way you're not have to commute every day.
All right, so schools, kind of tell me about the school system here in Fountain Hills. If a family with children is looking to move here, what are they gonna find?
So as far as the educational opportunities, there's really pretty limited choices. There's literally just one of each. So for this high school, middle school, and elementary school. And that's basically your Fountain Hills School District.
Okay.
There are some sports, but if you are a family with kids and you're really into athletics, you might wanna check out Gilbert and Chandler area for those school districts. But here, the schools are pretty small, so even there's not a whole lot of students here either.
Got it.
On the other hand of that, also means that each student does get a little bit more attention per student. But once again, people really don't move here specifically for schools.
All right, so Victoria, when we were walking a little bit ago, I saw a sign that says it's okay not to give money to panhandlers. Is that like a problem here in Fountain Hills?
So Fountain Hills is actually one of the safest places here throughout the valley. The panhandlers, obviously that can happen pretty much anywhere you go, especially in the places where it's warmer, but the town of Fountain Hills is doing a really good job to keeping panhandlers away. So it's actually a really rare sight. You pretty much will never see that here. A lot of people who do move here, and safety is a #1 concern. That is one of the best places to be.
Okay, so that definitely makes sense about the panhandler thing. So I have noticed like in parts of Phoenix especially, there's a homelessness issue a little bit, but I was just curious. I didn't know about it in Fountain Hills. So yeah, as the expert, I figured I'd ask you first.
Yeah, Fountain Hills is definitely doing a really great job keeping the homeless people out. So that's another thing you pretty much will never see any homeless people down here.
Got it, got it. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
So in general, how does Fountain Hills compare as far as overall cost of living to, you know, other areas of the Phoenix metro area?
Since it is isolated, even just just little things like your gas and groceries is going to be a little bit more expensive than places like Scottsdale or Gilbert Chandler, you know, Mesa area. And as far as the shopping, there's really limited options. It's mostly consists of different, you know, boutiques and some of the sports apparel. But other than that, for your main shopping, you got Safeway, Target, and if you do need to go to like Whole Foods or Sprouts, even just Costco, you do have to drive to Scottsdale.
Oh no, you gotta drive to Costco to Scottsdale. Oh my gosh. You know, I think a lot of people get spoiled in the Phoenix area being so many Costcos everywhere. So, well, I guess that's a real concern for some people for sure. So as far as like things to do, obviously everywhere out in the Phoenix area is all about outdoor. Well, there's a lot of indoor stuff to do too, but here at Fountain Park, I see people with dogs, Frisbee golfers. I'm looking at, you know, people out on their motorcycles. Like, what else is big here in Fountain Hills as far as play, fun things to do?
People who end up actually moving here are typically big hikers. There's definitely lots of little options. The town of Fountain Hills actually made some design choices to have some trails going throughout the town where you can be on your bike, you can just do little walkthroughs. So it's not just this park in particular, but you know, throughout the town area, which is really neat and really great for people who just live here and don't actually want to, you know, drive if it's anywhere to the...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like all these mountains around here, there's got to be hiking. Do you know anything about that?
Yes. So even just McDowell Mountain, the regional park has over 50 miles of different hikes and trails that you can do. So actually a lot of people who come down here to Fountain Hills, even who live in Scottsdale, Gilbert Chandler area, end up driving up here just to take us some of these beautiful hikes that show the desert in its whole glory here.
So awesome. I mean, me personally, I like a lot of hiking, and obviously just looking around, it looks like most of the people around here, same idea. But what about when it gets really hot in the middle of summer, or maybe you're not in good enough shape anymore to actually go on these hikes? You know, maybe you can walk around the lake, but the extreme sports are behind you. Like, what else is really fun to do around here?
So actually right off of the main entrance into down Fountain Hills, they do have the casino as well, which is kind of a resort style. So you got some, you know, dining options, you got just lots of different games, and it's a pretty good spot to go to when, especially during the summertime, it gets so hot and you definitely do not want to be outside for too long of a time. Another good choice for a quick hike here in Fountain Hills is Desert Botanical Gardens, and I want to say just only half a mile hike, quick little loop, so really not that long, but it does feature 29 different species of plants that naturally grow here in the desert. So it's a really great way to really get to know what the natural desert landscape is looking like.
All right, so we talked about Fountain Park, we talked about the restaurants that are around it, we've talked about all the hiking. What about neighborhoods? Like, what kinds of homes are available around here? What can someone expect if they're searching for a place to buy when looking to move here or have a second home here for the winter?
A lot of home options here are gonna be actually condos, because like I said earlier, we do have a lot of snowbird population or people who are not here full time. So they would prefer to have something that does not have any maintenance and a really, you know, safe environment. So you will have a lot of condos. As far as the single family homes, they are gonna be a lot more expensive than you'd see in Chandler, Gilbert area, Mesa. But also there's a lot of luxury options as well, where it pretty much looks really similar to Paradise Valley, but that's gonna be a lot more affordable option.
All right, so Victoria, tell me a little bit about this house. It's brand new, or is this totally remodeled? I mean, it looks like most of the houses in the area that we've driven by aren't necessarily new construction. So tell me a little bit about that.
Typically, you will see just some of the older luxury homes that are being fully remodeled, and they actually even seem like a brand new build, but most of the new construction here just happens when you do get these here and there some empty lots, and people come in and do like a fully, totally custom build. So you don't really get the typical new construction situation where you have this huge subdivision of kind of like a cookie cutter homes, but not so much here.
Okay, all right, so that's the tour of Fountain Hills, Arizona. Victoria would love to meet with you and discuss different neighborhoods, different lifestyles that you're looking for. Of course, of all the areas in the Phoenix metro, Fountain Hills is definitely one of the more unique areas. It's a little bit more isolated, but for the right person that wants that environment, it doesn't get any better than that. Now, in another video, we're going to talk about Ahwatukee, Arizona, which you're going to want to check out as well. Ahwatukee has has similar mountainous roads and views, things like that, but is a lot closer to Phoenix Metro. Of course, home prices in those areas might be a little bit higher too. But in any case, if you are thinking about moving or relocating here to Fountain Hills or anywhere in the Phoenix Metro, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us an email, send a text message, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back for moving here to Phoenix, Arizona. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.